Hi, my name is Nathan. Today we're going to explain the history of Spawn based on issues number 296 and 297. Brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. Before we get into the content, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy, don't be stingy. Like the video and subscribe to this channel. It'll help Rated Comics to make more comic book reviews and comic book related content like this. Spawn 296 starts with the room full of different beings debating over a specific character. Probably Al Simmons, which it is Al Simmons, who has now become Spawn and has become a living hell as he terrorizes the lives of people like these who say they have never seen anyone like him. Albeit a character in dark blue costume with the gold plate armor, the Redeemer, on his body says that heaven has dealt with his kind for a very long time. While some of them suggest hiding and running away from him, the very same creature says that he is going all out and will fight Spawn. It's as if hell was waiting for Al Simmons to come up to it. A man as focused, determined, skilled, and strong-headed as Al Simmons comes once in a while, and hell had to make it count by making him its Spawn. One quality that Simmons possessed above all of these qualities that makes him a cut above the rest is that he wasn't a believer. And what is God to a non-believer? Having no God in your heart allows man to do the worst things imaginable. Simmons was the worst of the worst. With faith missing, the thing that filled the void in Simmons' life was the love of his life, Wanda. It was the thing that he always came up short against. Thus, when Jason Wynn masterminded the murder of Simmons using Simmons' own best friend, one thing that was made a priority was not to let Simmons' wife know what happened. As it happened, Simmons watched it all. He died, struck a deal with the devil, watched his best friend marry his wife, and witnessed the two of them have a child. It would not be easy to be in Simmons' shoes in this position, having your entire world swept from under your feet. What did Simmons get in return? Well, Simmons was no more and Spawn came to life. Had things been a little different and Simmons had not made a deal with Malboja, he would have been a warrior of heaven instead of serving hell as its hellspawn. Fate had other ideas, and now Simmons serves hell as its fiercest and most gritting warrior, all because Simmons couldn't let go of the one thought in his mind, Wanda. This is why that word is forbidden in hell. This word is considered sinful in hell because it gives, that's funny, because it gives rise to a man whom no force can bring down. More than a man, it is a force within itself. And with the birth of this force, not just heaven, but hell has also been made to suffer. How is it possible that a being exists who can survive damnation and salvation? It's outright outrageous. Some forces, however, disagree with the notion that Simmons isn't as harsh as he's portrayed. It's a symbol that has given Simmons all his power. Simmons was only a means to an end. He should have never gotten the authority that he had in the first place. But this is entirely false. There is something inside Simmons which allows the symbiote to bond with him. Something different which allowed the symbiote to accept Simmons' body and soul. It wasn't easy at the start because Simmons was adjusting to the symbiote's power. It isn't as easy as it seemed, which allowed Simmons to turn back to his military training. He reverted to his military training to fight crime, those who wronged him, and those people who spread evil. It wasn't until a few fights took place that Simmons became comfortable in his skin and gave the symbiote a chance to flourish on his body. Malboja wanted to end all of this, so he sent beasts to rid Simmons, not knowing that every time he sent a bigger beast, it was only helping Spawn to grow and the symbiote to become stronger than before. Spawn was truly becoming a master of his fate, a power which no other force could even think of stopping. Malboja tried, and now his head rests atop of the hellish peak. As for hell, all the forces present there are now fighting for the throne. However, Simmons is still after the question, finding out who killed his wife. If he doesn't, then it'll make all hell break loose, and all those who were part of their lives will be made in living hell if it wasn't already. Carlichios is being addressed by the Redeemer, where he tells them that maybe he can help them find out what they know about Al Simmons, aka Spawn. Cogs quickly reminds him that Spawn is like no other hell spawn from the past. If the Redeemer makes this mistake, he's already done for. Cogs also makes it clear at the start that he isn't concerned with teaming up to fight against Simmons, nor is he concerned about the well-being of the Redeemer. He only needs to do one thing, and that is to survive. We also get to know that Cogs was a Hellspawn himself in the past. Cogs tells the Redeemer that Spawn has been making moves that have never been seen before. It is more than just an element of surprise. Spawn could wipe them all out with one blow, and they won't even feel a damn thing. It's not only the things that he has been doing differently, but also the newer things that he's been doing too. All of it's making him stronger by the minute, which should concern his enemies. Spawn Spawn's enemies, big question is why Spawn didn't take the throne for himself. Why did he kill Meboja and start an all-out battle between heaven and hell for who gets to sit on the throne? That will confuse his enemies for a long time, because even after having so much power, why doesn't one want to attain more? With all their plan and ideas, God and Satan can predict the Hellspawn could be this devastating. Following no code, he has blurred the line between heaven and hell by emptying the throne after getting rid of Meboja. The people who went after Simmons had no idea that he was getting stronger with every attack of theirs. They thought that the symbiote around him was just something that he could show off, but instead, it was much more than that. There are two main parts of Spawn's growth. One is his body, which he has managed to peak quicker than any other Spawn before. This is one of the reasons why the symbiote loves all that Spawn does. The second is his ability to summon an army. The first ability was something that his enemies strengthened. They thought that by attacking him frequently would lower his defense and let his guard down. He might tire and give in, but it was the exact opposite. He won't give in that easily. The constant attacks from his enemies only made him stronger than before, which is something Cogs is stressing. So many of his enemies failed to know this, and now they are suffering. Even Calicioso thought he was in control of Spawn, but it turns out that he played things out exactly how Spawn wanted him to. Calicioso says that his enemies might have thought Spawn had given up and he was beaten, but Spawn was planning for his next move amidst all of this. He was planning what he was supposed to do next after everything had been done before. All his enemies were so focused on trying to kill Spawn that when he took himself out of the picture and carried out suicide by shooting himself in the head, all of them didn't know what to do next. They were stunned completely. Simmons' enemies are hell-bent on stripping him off the symbiote. Little do they know that Simmons can hide in plain sight. He manages to do this when he takes up the identity of Jim Downing. Downing was the same spirit that he inhabited during the first few days of Simmons becoming Spawn. And Downing was also the first to wear the symbiote without being dead first. That was just a simple move as per the standards of Spawn in the big game, where he managed to trap all his enemies on Earth. And now he will hunt all them one by one. He won't rest until they're all wiped off from the face of the earth. And the way he did that was by shutting down the gates to heaven and hell. A significant contributor to Spawn's situation is the death of his wife, because that is something that freed him completely. Nothing was holding him back now. But at the end of it all, and the point where everything comes to a close, is that there is only one thing that can stop Simmons. There's only one thing that can hold Simmons back from unleashing the chaos that he can spread at a finger snap, which is himself. And that is the history of Spawn. Comment below, let me know what you guys think of the video. Also, if you wish to add any of these issues to your comic book collection, link in description. If you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.